Hello, welcome to Body Focus Pilates warm-up 1 session. So we're going to do this warm-up in standing, so all you need is either just a mat if you've got one, or just standing comfortably at home. Okay, so just to begin with, we're going to start by finding our neutral position, which we often do when we're lying on our mat or in other positions. So you can bring our feet together, bring those toes apart and heels apart, and have our feet at hip width distance. Okay, now from here, just to start, we're going to gently rock those feet forwards and back, so coming onto the ball of your feet and then the heels, nice and slowly forwards and back. And then I want you just to feel where that weight is going in the middle through those feet, so it's nice and evenly left and right sides. Good. Make sure those knees aren't locked back, they should be nice and soft. And we're going to come onto our pelvic area here. Now from here, just want you to very gently tilt that pelvis forwards and then tucking it back. Just imagine if you've got that bucket of water, you'd be tipping the water out and tipping it behind. So just a very small movement here. Good, okay. And then I just want you to find that midpoint between those two movements. So that pelvis in that neutral position. Okay. Now from here, our core is gently lifted. Our arms are relaxed, so those shoulder blades are really sunk down into your back. And that neck is nice and long, so imagine you've got a balloon that's lifting that neck upwards, okay? And if you need to, you can just tuck that chin in slightly so that head is nice and long. Great, so we're just finding that neutral position, that posture to start with. Good. So from here, what we're going to do is float our hands up to shoulder height, have our hands together. We'll take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to stretch one hand back behind you. Breath in when you get to the end. And on that out breath, coming back again. And we're going to repeat on the other side. So breath in, as you breathe out, stretching that arm back, and then back in. Good, we're going to do this each side. Good. So we're just rotating that neck a little bit and really stretching into that upper back as we're doing this. Good. Last few. Keeping that core gently lifted and those hips facing forwards as we're stretching back. Okay, great. Let's just do one last one each side. Good, then we're going to float our hands back down. Lovely, okay. So bring our hands now to waist height here. And we're just going to open our chest out and squeeze in between those shoulder blade muscles. So we're going to take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to open those hands apart, squeezing the shoulder blades gently back together, coming back in. And as we're pushing those hands away, again just squeezing those shoulder blades gently back. So opening out, coming back in, and then pushing the shoulder blades back together. Good. So just opening that chest, still keeping that neck nice and long and lifted as we're doing it. Fantastic. So opening out, squeezing gently back, coming back in, and then pushing back and away. Lovely. Good. And let's just do one last one here. Well done, and then just relax those arms back down. Good, so make sure those feet are about hip width distance apart and that weight's going evenly through our feet. We're going to go on to our balance series now, just to warm up and challenge that balance a little bit. So we're going to float our hands up to shoulder height again, still keeping that neck nice and long, those shoulders relaxed. And from here, if you can, we're going to come up onto your toes, bend the knees down, lower the feet, and then lower. Good. So we're going to come up with those hands again, up onto the toes, bend the knees, lower the feet and down. Good, so it's one smooth movement, challenging that balance as we're coming down. Good, so coming up onto the toes, bend the knees, control that movement, coming down. We're just going to do a few more here. Good. Still breathing nice and gently in and out as you're controlling that movement. Good. Great, let's just do one last one here. Well done. So coming up, Sometimes helps to fix on that point on the ream if you can at home, just to help with that balance, and then relax back down. Great, okay, so we're going to think about just warming up a little bit more now. We're going to use our legs, so we'll give our arms a rest. So we're going to come up, just have that toe just pointing up. I'm just going to straighten my mat out a little bit here. Good, so just coming that toe onto the ground as a pivot point, those hips facing forwards, that core is gently lifted, and we're just going to start with a standing clam. So similar to what we do on our glute series, a clam exercise. So we're going to open our leg out here, come back in, and just repeat that. So my hip bones are still facing forwards as I'm just opening out and rotating that knee outwards. Good. Keeping that core gently lifted, helping with that balance from here. Now, if you want to challenge that a little bit further, what we can do is just pop your foot onto your calf and then open that out from there. Great. So it's a little bit harder, especially on that balance. Make sure this leg you're standing on isn't locked back, just nice and soft there at the knee, just challenging that further. Good. We'll just do the last few here. If you need to at any point, just come back down to that toe. Great. One last one. And then relax that leg down. Good. We'll do the same on the other side. So we'll just start with that toe resting on the floor, those hip bones pointing forwards, that core gently engaged. And we're just going to open that knee out, coming back in, and again from here. Good. Just opening out and back. Okay, so if you want to challenge that as before, we can bring that foot up onto the calf and then just opening out here. That knee you're standing on is not locked back, remember, just nice and soft. Just opening out, keeping those hip bones forward, just challenging that there. Good. And same again, if you want to do the last few, just that toe back on the floor, you can, just to finish off here. Good. And then last one here. Oh, well done, and come back down. Great. Now if you want to, you can bring those feet just a little bit wider than the hip width apart. Still standing up nice and tall. That core gently lifted. We're going to do a few little squats here. So start with those hands on our hip bones, and from here we're just going to come down into that squat and then back up. So just coming down and back. So just go to where you're comfortable. The lower you go, obviously the harder it is. But just imagine you're sitting back onto a seat, as if you're lowering yourself down into a chair here. Good. Okay. So if you want to, we can then add in our arms. Good. So just lowering down and lifting those arms. Fantastic. Let's do a few more here if you can. So really getting those legs warmed up now. Well done. Good. Last few. And last one here. Oh, well done. And relax those arms back down. Okay, so let's bring those feet back together. We're going to bring them back into that hip width distance. Make sure that weight's going nice and evenly through your feet. We're going to do a few roll downs now, just to get our back and our spines moving. So from here, remember that posture, that core is gently lifted, our arms are relaxed, that neck's nice and long. We're going to take a breath in here. And as we breathe out, we're going to roll our hands down all the way down to the floor, just as far as you feel comfortable. Take a breath in at the end here. And as you breathe out, just slowly peeling back up into standing. Good. And again, breath in. And as we breathe out, we're just rolling those hands down, slowly coming down towards the floor. Take a breath in at the end here. And on the out breath again, slowly peeling back up. Keep that core gently lifted to help support you on your way back up. And again, breath in. As we breathe out, slowly rolling ourselves down, peeling that back, coming down into that C shape, slowly coming down towards the floor. Breath in at the end, and on that out breath, slowly coming back up into standing. Great, so one last one here to finish off. So breath in. As we breathe out, rolling those hands down, slowly down towards the floor. Breath in at the end here. And on that out breath, slowly peel back up again. Then come back into standing. Fantastic, that's great. So that's the end of our warm-up 1 session. Well done.